If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video of ice makers that all look the same, and still feel like you're just not sure which one actually makes sense, you're not alone. I've spent the last few weeks talking to small business owners, catering teams, and a couple of home entertainment enthusiasts who all keep a freezer full of ice on tap. When you add up the cost of wasted bags, the hassle of refilling, and the occasional shortage at the worst possible moment, the decision becomes a lot more personal than just big capacity equals better. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's dig into the Ice-O-Matic Elevation Series CIM0436HA plus B55PS, a commercial-grade cube ice machine that promises 465 pounds of ice per day. That's a number that makes sense for places that serve a steady flow of drinks. Think a small bar, a coffee shop, a catering operation, or even a busy family home that loves hosting weekend brunches. The question is whether its day-to-day reality lives up to the headline. First off, who should consider this machine? If you run a venue that needs a constant supply of cube ice, think a bar that runs happy hour every night, a restaurant that offers water on the table, or a catering service that packs drinks for events. You'll instantly feel the benefit of a machine that can crank out nearly half a ton of ice daily. In those settings, the always-in nature of the Elevation series means you won't be caught scrambling to buy bags of ice when a rush hits. The unit also fits nicely into a walk-in cooler or a dedicated ice room, thanks to its relatively compact footprint for the amount of ice it produces. On the flip side, if you're a typical homeowner who only needs a few trays of ice on the weekend, this machine is seriously overkill. The initial price point, the size of the storage bin, and the energy draw are all calibrated for commercial volumes. You'd likely spend more on electricity than you'd save on bagged ice, and you'd end up with a huge block of ice that sits idle most of the week. One of the standout strengths that becomes clear when you look at how the machine actually runs is the Pure Ice Protection System. In commercial settings, water quality can vary, and mineral buildup is a real concern. The Pure Ice Tech claims a self-cleaning cycle that minimizes scaling, which translates to fewer service calls and less downtime. For a business that can't afford a machine being offline for a day, that hidden reliability is worth the premium. In practice, you'll set the unit to run its cleaning routine on a schedule, say, once a week, without needing to dismantle anything. The convenience of that set-it-and-forget-it approach removes a layer of maintenance that many smaller ice makers demand. Ease of maintenance shows up again with the Easy Maintenance label. The machine's water inlet and discharge lines are designed for quick access, and the internal components can be reached through a front panel that doesn't require full teardown. For a busy kitchen staff, the ability to swap a filter or clear a minor blockage in under 10 minutes makes the difference between a smooth operation and a bottleneck. That said, the cleaning cycle still uses a chemical solution, so you'll need to keep a supply on hand and follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Versatile installation is another practical point. The Elevation series comes with an integrated hopper and a separate storage bin that can be placed up to a few feet away, connected by a flexible conduit. This means you can keep the machine in a cooler or a backroom while the ice bin sits near the service line. In a coffee shop layout I saw, the ice bin was tucked under the counter, allowing baristas to grab cubes without stepping into the cooler. That flexibility is a real win, especially when floor space is at a premium. User-friendly operation is arguably the most overlooked metric. The control panel is a simple digital display with a few buttons for start, stop, and a quick ice mode. No fancy touchscreen, no confusing menus, just the right amount of control for someone who just wants ice on demand. Training a new employee takes minutes. They learn to set the machine to produce a specific cube size and to check the bin level. The absence of complex settings means there's little chance of setting the wrong production rate and flooding your storage bin. Now, let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. The biggest one is energy consumption. A machine that pushes out 465 pounds of ice daily draws a significant amount of power, roughly equivalent to running several large appliances at once. In locations where electricity costs are high, that ongoing expense can add up quickly. It's not something you'll see on the spec sheet, but it's a factor you'll notice on the utility bill after a month of heavy use. Another nuance is the need for a reliable water supply. The Elevation series isn't designed to operate off a low-flow faucet, it